Have you ever wondered why the global oil price just hit a 7-month high? It's a question that's been puzzling many, and the answer lies in a complex web of factors. One of the key players in this unexpected rise is Brent crude, the world's oil benchmark. It recently climbed by as much as 1.8% to $89 a barrel, the highest it's been since the early days of September. But that's not all. West Texas Intermediate crude, the U.S. benchmark, also rose by the same percentage, hitting a 5-month high of $85 a barrel. Now, if we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, we can see that these are not isolated incidents. Since the start of the year, Brent and WTI prices have risen by 15% and nearly 19% respectively. This surge in oil prices threatens a further rise in gasoline prices, not just in the United States, but globally. What's fueling this upward momentum in oil prices, you ask? Let's delve into the myriad factors that are setting the stage for this dramatic rise. Firstly, we have the ongoing Ukrainian attacks on Russian refineries. This conflict isn't just about two countries at loggerheads. It's a ripple effect, causing a disruption in oil production, which in turn is pushing prices up. The oil market, much like any other, is sensitive to supply and demand. So when supply is threatened, prices tend to rise. Next, let's hop on over to the Red Sea. Houthi attacks on shipping here are causing a significant disruption in the transportation of oil. It's not just about producing the black gold. Getting it from the oil fields to the refineries and then to the markets is an integral part of the journey. Any disturbance in this process can have a domino effect on the prices. But it's not just these specific incidents that are causing concern. There's a general sense of instability in the Middle East. This region is a significant contributor to the global oil supply. And any unrest here sends shockwaves through the oil market. The tension is palpable, and the oil prices are reacting to it. And then there's the slower than expected recovery in U.S. oil production. Cold weather earlier this year curtailed operations, and the recovery has been sluggish at best. As one of the world's largest oil producers, slower production in the U.S. can have a significant impact on global oil prices. In essence, we're seeing a situation where the supply of oil is coming up short, and this shortfall is causing a hike in prices. It's a classic case of economics. When supply decreases and demand remains constant, prices go up. So, what's happening in the oil market right now isn't just about numbers on a chart. It's about geopolitics, conflicts, and the unpredictable nature of our world. All these elements are creating a sense of unease and unpredictability in the oil market. But geopolitical tensions are not the only factor at play here. Let's take a look at what's happening closer to home. The United States, a key player in the global oil market, has been experiencing a slower than expected recovery in oil production. This all began in January, when the country was hit by a wave of cold weather. Not the kind of cold you shrug off with an extra sweater, but the kind that freezes the oil in the wells and grinds operations to a halt. The impact of this chilly interruption was immediate and significant. It curtailed oil production operations, making it difficult for the industry to bounce back at the pace we were all hoping for. This was not a mere blip on the radar. It was a deep freeze that sent ripples through the oil market. Now, you might be wondering, how does a drop in U.S. production contribute to a rise in global oil prices? Well, when the oil output of a major producer drops, it creates a gap in the supply chain. And when supply can't keep up with demand, prices soar. This is the basic principle of economics, right? When there's less of something to go around, it becomes more valuable. And in this case, the something is oil. This slower recovery in U.S. oil production has created a ripple effect. It's not just about the oil we're not pulling out of the ground here in the States. It's about the oil that's not being shipped overseas, not being refined into gasoline, not powering the factories and vehicles of the world. This shortfall in supply has had a direct impact on oil prices. The less oil we have, the more each barrel is worth. And as long as this recovery continues at a slower pace, we can expect the price of oil to keep climbing. In essence, we have a situation where supply is falling short. Let's delve deeper into the escalating geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. Recent events have thrown a spotlight on the volatile situation brewing in this region. Notably, an airstrike on Iran's embassy in Syria has sparked a flurry of accusations and counter-accusations. Iran and Syria have pointed fingers at Israel as the perpetrator behind this attack. This development has not only heightened existing tensions, but also introduced a new level of uncertainty into the mix. Now, what's interesting here is the response from Israel. The Israeli military has maintained a level of ambiguity, choosing not to comment on these foreign reports. But a military spokesperson did hint at a target, citing a military building of Quds forces. For those unfamiliar, the Quds forces are a unit of Iran's elite revolutionary guards responsible for foreign operations. This situation is a delicate one. Any misstep could potentially escalate the situation further, adding fuel to the already heated environment. But how does this relate to our topic at hand, you might ask? Well, the Middle East is a pivotal player in the global oil market. It's home to some of the world's largest oil producers and reserves. Thus, any instability in this region can create ripples that affect the oil market worldwide. The airstrike and the subsequent accusations have amplified the sense of instability and uncertainty in the Middle East. This has led to increased concerns about potential disruptions to oil supply. And as we know, when there's uncertainty about supply, prices tend to rise. In this case, the tension in the Middle East has become another factor contributing to the upward pressure on global oil prices. It's a complex situation where geopolitical developments can directly impact economic outcomes. These tensions, coupled with the uncertainty surrounding them, have a significant impact on the oil market. So, what does this all mean for us? Well, let's break it down. The surge in oil prices is not just a headline for economists or oil tycoons. It has implications that could affect each one of us, and in ways you might not immediately think of. Sure, the most obvious impact is at the gas pump. When oil prices rise, gasoline prices typically follow suit. This means that filling up your car could become a more expensive endeavor, affecting your monthly budget. But the consequences don't stop there. High oil prices can echo throughout the economy. Oil is not just used for gasoline. It's a crucial component in a wide range of products, from plastics to pharmaceuticals, from cosmetics to clothing. When oil prices rise, the cost of producing these goods can increase, and often these costs are passed on to consumers. That means the price tag on everyday items could creep up. Moreover, oil prices can influence the health of the economy as a whole. When oil prices rise sharply, it increases the cost of transportation. This could lead to an increase in the price of goods and services, potentially sparking inflation. Inflation, if it gets too high, can dampen economic growth. And if that happens, it could potentially lead to job losses and a decrease in living standards. On the flip side, higher oil prices can benefit certain sectors. For instance, the energy sector might see a boost. Companies involved in alternative energy might also get a push, as high oil prices could make renewable energy sources more competitive. In essence, the surge in oil prices could have a domino effect across various sectors of the economy, impacting everything from the cost of living to job markets, from your grocery bills to your investment portfolio. It's a reminder of how interconnected our world economy is and how changes in one area can ripple out to touch all of us in different ways. The ripple effects of this surge in oil prices are far-reaching, affecting not just the oil market but also our daily lives. To put it all together, we've seen an unexpected 7-month high in global oil prices. This surge has been propelled by a multitude of factors. Among them, mounting tensions in the Middle East pose a significant threat to the stability of supply. With increasing geopolitical unrest, particularly the airstrikes on Iran's embassy in Syria, we're witnessing a ripple effect on oil markets worldwide. Additionally, the slower-than-projected recovery of U.S. oil production has further tightened the supply, contributing to the price hike. This escalating situation threatens a potential rise in gasoline prices, not just in the United States, but globally as well. The momentum of these events has been building over the past several weeks, and it's clear that the implications could be far-reaching. The oil market, in its inherent unpredictability, continues to be influenced by a complex web of geopolitical and economic factors. As we continue to navigate these uncertain times, one thing is clear: the global oil market remains as unpredictable and volatile as ever.